I was just speaking to Telvin's father. Telvin's family, parents didn't go home. Wamelala Kenyatta. As we speak, Telvin is awake. Telvin is talking. Telvin is walking, though one leg imekwa plaster. One of his hand is imeumia. Someone tell me why even the dad is so disappointed. The family is so disappointed at this point. As much as we are grateful to this hospital, but Kenyatta has ruled out that this patient was highly sedated. That is why I'm so tired. Shades of Vitu merudi. Tutaongea maneno yetu. Telvin was highly sedated kwa ile hospitali amekuwa, and that is why this Telvin akiwa AAR, he was not responding to treatment. That is why Telvin was in bad shape akiwa AAR. Telvin was not responding to us. Telvin was not moving tukiwa HDU ya AAR. But wakati Telvin alikuwa transferred to Kiambu ilitukataa cause, and this is what I want to say. Even that doctor, one of those Wahindi doctors was there, alisema vizuri, I'm not refusing you to admit Telvin in a bad way, but we cannot take a patient who is not responding. Telvin alikuwa dia anachunwa, anadungwa, Telvin amki. Telvin was hakuwa na respond to anything. He was not responsive. He was just sleeping over there. His breathing and his vitals were okay. His BP was okay. But Telvin hakukuwa ana respond. Hakuwa anafungua macho. Hakuwa na move. Mkono haikuwa ina move. Hadi watu wenye tulikuja na wako ambulance wanashangaa, what has happened? Because wanasema his GCS or something, ile ya alertness had moved from 15 to 5. Kiambu hospital ikatukata. We had to go to Wakanza emergency looking for ICU. We were, in fact, the hospital itself ilikuwa inapiga masimu, Thika ikapiga simu, Links specialized hospital, tukapiga simu another hospital in
I got insisting.
Nice, sasa
finally tulipata bed.
Yes, tulipata bed. Niko na grievances that nataka ku storm out. Imagine Telvin respond at Kenyatta. Telvin is even being considered to be taken to home care. This is the Telvin mwenye alikuwa anahitaji ICU. This is the Telvin that was in bad shape. Tukiwa AR na tukiwa Kiambu. Reason now from the doctor is that Telvin was highly sedated and it was making him go back. Instead of arudi poa, alikuwa anaendelea kukua drowsy, anaendelea kukua hali mbaya. And that is why tulikuwa tunaambiwa sijui neurologist, tunaambiwa we need a maxillofacialist, sijui we need to take him to the theater for surgery. Kenyatta has clearly said that this guy does not, yes, those who are up, please mute. Kenyatta has clearly said that this guy did not need any surgery at any point ya mguu. Yes, he has a fracture. Wamefunga band wamemweka itwa plaster, but it's not even as bad as it has been termed. The neuro part yenye wanasema neurologist amemwangalia amesema it is not something bad. Yes, he had an accident, but it was not as severe as we had been told by AAR. It was not something that would have needed an HDU or ICU. Hii tumeangaishwa yote. Nizo sedatives ama whatever hizo medicines walikuwa nampatia ndio ilikuwa inamrudisha nyuma. And Mtiso, by the time we left, uliona Telvin tukiingisha kwa ambulance, alikuwa amefungwa macho alafu akalala tena. Even though Telvin alilala until we were referred to an ICU in Kenyatta. Until now Telvin has not been taken to the ICU or even a ward. Hao amepanda nana hawapandisha. Until now Telvin is still at the emergency. Hajapelekwa hizo vitu zote tulikuwa tunaambiwa because they are not needed as venye zilikuwa zimewekwa. Until now Telvin is much better. Telvin wana reconsider and they are party home care. But the family is so disappointed, especially the dad. And now I feel like some of this I won't say it in a bad way, but I feel like if we had not been knowledgeable enough to ask for a transfer, tufike Kiambu, Telvin akataliwe, ako hali maututi, he's not responsive, we will not have been here. Tungekuwa na Telvin HDU pali alikuwa, ama tungekuwa na Telvin ICU if we had found a bed in Kiambu. And thank God to Kiambu that they ruled out that who patient aende because he's not responding, apelekwe ICU. Kufika Kenyatta, they've only done like 1 or 2 things, madawa 2 3. Telvin is okay. Yes, he has some maxillofacial injuries, those are bones, but it's not as critical as we are being told. He doesn't need a neurosurgeon, neurologist as bad as we are being told. It was all because of sedatives, being sedated. Sorry, natumia sedation means different. It is all because he was being sedated. So being sedated was too much to an extent that Telvin was going back to becoming more sick than what he was supposed to. So you do updates. That is the update I have. It is not as bad as walikuwa wametuwekea. And I'm so disappointed. As much as AR ended up waiving the bill as they claim they waived the bill, ama nisha ililipa 106,000. Yenye walikuwa wamesema italipwa tulipe. I'm so disappointed that they kept telling us Telvin ako hali mbaya anahitaji hiyo HDU. Wakakosa HDU, wakaamua tupelekwe nitwa nini? Tupelekwe normal ward. Then kufika Kiambu, he doesn't need a normal ward, he needs an ICU because alikuwa amki, and I don't blame Kiambu at this point. Yes, he fell from the car. Telvin is talking. Telvin is now walking, though on one leg, but he's now walking. Telvin is now walking. Funny how did I... What was interfered with my settings to an extent that watu mnapanda tu bila sababu. So that's it. He was highly sedated, and that's why he was going back to being more sick than what he was supposed to. Hey manze, be warned. Ukienda private hospital, enda na akili yako. Yes, wamangalia head injury, there's nothing that you tutukua tunaambiwa sijui internal bleeding, sijui hemorrhage, nothing. There's nothing like that. So I have a photo ya Telvin. I have a video hata amenitumia. So nitaipost. He's okay. Yes, some injuries anaendelea kwa medication, but it is not as bad as we were being told. And thank you guys for telling us to go to Kenyatta. I think if we had not gone to Kenyatta, we will not be here. Tungekuwa huko kwa ICU, tunaendelea kutibu magonjwa ziko. Tungekuwa huko tunamfanyia vitu zenye ziko. I don't know. Nikitoa automatic request inabidi niende kwa hizo settings, hata sina hizo nguvu za kwenda huko. Miss Mutiso, sumaona, nyinyi mlishughulikadia kafika huko, but you see, things are different.
But we thank God everything is now okay. Telvin is doing well. Lakini jana si tulisumbuka sister, lakini we were there for Telvin.
I haven't believed the road came through. He came through so much. But I never saw this coming. Never thought it was the youth being sedated in
Tunachezwa. Tulicheza jana.
Na ndio maana nashangaa how come he 106 yenye alikuwa anatibiwa HDU, walikuwa anatibu nini? Kama Kenyatta ijamtibu imempatia tu some. Hata if he's being discharged, wamesema they'll put him on inaitwa nini? Wanamweka kwa painkillers and antibiotics only.
Vayo, mi sitetea AR. Actually hiyo story ya do nini, lakini kuna kitu pia, unajua immediately patient amepata accident, inakuanga ina take like some hours udetermine for sure condition ya the patient, lakini siwezi watetea kwa sababu ya story ya do, lakini kudetermine the real condition ya patient, it sometimes take time ndo ujue for real. That's why sometimes unafika na critical patient unaambiwa ngoja, and then they have to do all those procedures ndio determine kama kuna internal bleeding, kama kuna nini, kuna protocol, lakini sijasema na watetea.
No, it's very true. I understand. Even me, I knew that some of the injuries, in fact, if they're very internal, they come up later. So I was very sure maybe yenye wanashinda kituambia it's you later, sijui nini. It was because some injuries are popping up later. But kitu imenibo too, and I know, is that we came to an extent where a bill was waived because alikuwa hali mbaya and had made promises. Tunafika Kiambu, amekuwa worst. Then tunakuja Kenyatta, the patient is okay. Kenyatta wamemwangalia not all, with only one doctor, wamemwangalia jana, wamemwangalia usiku. It only took about 3 hours for Telvin to get back to normal, a bit normal, to be stable, to an extent that he's talking. Amekunywa yogurt, amekunywa maji, amepewa juice, amekunywa. Asubuhi ndio yeye ameambiwa, amejaribu kutembezwa, ametembea na mguu moja, yes. Wanatuambia hapa, as much as the reason alikuwa hiyo condition yako is because he was highly sedated. Hata kama alikuwa anapunguza uchungu. So una sedate mtu connection that unaanza kurule vitu aziko, tunaambiwa possibility of hemorrhage ya kichwa, internal bleeding, possibility of blood clot. Surgery apelekwe theater for just.
Okay, it was a yes, it is a precaution. Yes, it's a normal precaution for someone in that condition. Lakini kuna vitu zingine yenye mimi naona sometimes actually private hospitals they exaggerate so much. Sikatai, those are precautions that you have to take, but sometimes even as you are doing those things, why don't you even give patients like, okay, if you have shy, it's okay, or if you have this, okay, maybe have the money or something. Sometimes they overdo, and sometimes when they like multiple
other stories I've been hearing. At this point, I'll believe some of the stories I've been hearing, because they made someone lose hope. Wanafanya mtu lose hope. Kama sisi, imagine the parents wamelala hapo Kenyatta, because walikuwa wanafanya ni kama huyu mtu anaenda kukufa. So kama wangeendelea kumsedate, anaendelea kwa ICU. Bet me right, if you didn't get an ICU, juu Kiambu walikuwa wametukataa, they cannot admit kama si ICU, juu amki, tungebaki hiyo hospitali. Sahi as we speak, angekuwa HDU. Anaendelea kupata treatment HDU. Sahi Kenyatta ako kwa surgical ward ya emergency. He's doing better, he's working.
Yeah, exactly. Unajua advantage ya government hospital, unapata a view yenye ni neutral. Unajua hii imekuja tu from like a professional. Shida ni kuassess those people, it's really hard sometimes.
We did not go where we cannot afford. It was an emergency and we did not take to AAR.
Yes.
The accident wakapeleka St. Mary's emergency, akapewa first aid, they transferred AAR because condition alikuwa ndani hizo, hawangefanya hizo ma CT scan manini. So we did not go. It was the nearest emergency hospital that
I know eti haikuwa nini sasa accident. Unajua uwezi choose eti wacha nipata accident karibu na ama wacha ni alafu pia government hospital. By the way, unajua even sometimes you can go to Kenyatta na ukae like sijua many even a day without being seen or something. So actually even I don't know, the system actually is really hard. That is why we are left to have an option of private hospitals. Lakini sijui private hospitals watakaa chini kuona how they have to balance between making profit and also saving life. I don't know.
Yes, they have to choose whatever direction they want to take.
It's a big issue and they have to sit.
Grace, we are not refusing to take someone to a public hospital, and that's why right now is a public hospital. But remember, this is an hospital that has received an emergency case, an accident emergency case. They need to stabilize, ama they need to refer you. Amta bebana na patient, unless it was the first case, amepelekwa direct Kenyatta, it was better. But ni ile nye accident imefanyika, wakapeleka hapo St. Mary's Kiambu Road, immediately, akapewa sijui alikuna vitu alifanyiwa, then wakasema this case, peleka AAR because it's the nearest big hospital that has the CT scan and everything, akapelekwa hapo. So us getting from huko ndio ilikuwa issue, and by the time tumeenda Kiambu, the patient was worse. The patient was not responding to treatment, hakuwa anaamka. Until now wakatukataa, tukazunguka na watu ambulance yetu ya AAR mpaka Kenyatta. Right now Telvin is well, Telvin is doing fine. Telvin is even being considered to go home to continue with treatment. Hiyo story ya SHA hata sitaki kukumbuka. Juu Kenyatta ndo tunajua maybe SHA inafanya, I don't know. But
Yeah, it works in public hospital. Private hospitals, unajua what private hospitals fear ni? Utaenda kuambia aje SHA ati kitanda ilikuwa sijui 10,000. How will you even claim that?
We paid 54,000 at AAR, but when we left, we had a bill of 106 that AAR voluntarily paid and cleared. They cleared 106,000 on their own. Because SHA kufanya kazi after 24 hours. Hatukuwa tumemaliza 24 hours. So they paid. Wanasema SHA ililipa ni hao walilipa, I don't know, because they said SHA will only pay 28,000 per day. But by the time we left, they gave us a discount.
No, unajua, for public hospital, obvious, bed is at the minimum per day. Sasa utaambia aje, government, iti bed was 10k per day, ama 7.5 per day, na maybe wameka limitation per day. So that is actually what
is working. Yes. But as we had been given a precaution that SHA will pay 28,000 per day, a maximum of 28,000 per day, and it can only be after 24 hours. But by the time we left, SHA ilifanya vizuri sana na ikalipa 106,000 ama whatever SHA paid, the rest AAR waived. Na wakatupatia ambulance as a bonus. Telvin ako Kenyatta doing very well. We wait aende nyumbani, I have a video amepost. Amenitumia, I'll post it in a few. After hapa guys, before niende kwa Telvin, nenda town, I'll go to see Telvin. I'm going to focus Beauty and Cosmetic Shop. Please tuliagree jana mkuje tumsupport pia mimi hustle. Mbuy products. Nikitakuwa live so you can buy free delivery within Nairobi. Please come and support your sister.
Lakini imagine this story is not even about AAR alone. All the private hospitals, tuseme like 70%, they operate like that or even worse. Now you cannot even blame the employees or anything. It's the protocol that is there. It's about making money. But I think one day they will sit down and see how they can actually balance between saving a patient and making money, and even put a way in which they can even ensure, okay, this person can pay hata kama kuhudumia or something. Because I know they are about making money, but now
what we are doing as the country, in agenda will see. So it's coming up very soon. But yeah,
that's what is not going to work there. That is not how hospitals work. We have to.
Actually, I go to private hospitals. I usually go to private hospital for my treatment.
Yes, I know.
You have insurance. Insurances ni mzuri na private, also in public, but it's not private. But one thing is that there are good private hospitals and they're bad. The same case that we have private hospitals that hike their drugs. As much as there's a standard price, utapata usingine paracetamol ni 100, zingine paracetamol ni 700, zingine, so iko too different. Mimi Viola, I don't know which one you're saying. I don't have a grudge with any hospital. I've been working in insurance for almost 7 years. I am very okay. I know the ones that extort money. And I usually tell clients, if you are able, don't go to Tier 1 hospitals. Tier 1 hospitals are these big hospitals. One is that the insurance will get extorted haraka, and whatever you're going to pay is always higher than Tier 2. There are good hospitals in Tier 2, but people go for names. They don't go for treatment.
Exactly, Violet.
So if you can go to Tier 2 hospitals, unless it's very serious, Tier 2 will refer you to the best Tier 1, ama any government hospital like Kenyatta or KU to seek your treatment, which some of them still accept insurance. There's Kenyatta private wing. Don't go to hospitals because of name. We don't do that. We go to hospitals because we know they offer good services. Now there's good care.